Welcome back, everyone, here at Brax Talks. Today, we got a very special video for you guys. We're going to be talking about this Yankees trade that never happened. Never happened. We're going to dive all into it, why it didn't happen, what went wrong, and tell you who the player is. So, Christian, would you like to start it off?
Sure thing. Little before the deadline, news broke the Yankees traded Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader of the Cardinals. And it didn't make much sense. Harrison Bader was in a walking boot, and Jordan Montgomery was probably our fourth starter at the time, with J-Mo continuing to struggle. And Montgomery's been pretty good. Came up in 2017. He had Tommy John. But overall, has been very solid for the Yankees. Just so consistent. You know what you're going to get with him. And never anything amazing. I think that's partially why Cashman traded him. He didn't see a crazy upside in him. But he had some big moments. 2020 postseason, game 4, sent us to a game 5. And I think he won over a lot of fans. Never really got run support, but he's been Monty. The Yankees did acquire Frankie Montas, and that left them with 6 starters in the rotation, 7 if you include Severino. So they had to get rid of one. I thought it was going to be Herman, as did many fans, but no, it was Jordan Montgomery. And I think the another argument for the trade was Montgomery wouldn't have been on the postseason roster because you don't carry every starter. And if you had Cole, Cortez, Montas, Severino, 4 starters, you're not going to carry a Tyone or Monty, so why not get Bader, who will be on the postseason roster and can help you? But even so, I mean, you could have maybe gotten more for Montgomery. It just didn't make sense.
And, another thing, Christian, everyone always says you can never have enough pitching.
No,
doesn't matter.
100%.
Not just the postseason. You would have had Montgomery for next year as well. So not just thinking this year, next year you would have Montgomery. And you can never have enough pitching and not have enough pitching depth because injuries are always going to happen in the rotation. You're never going to have your rotation be perfect the whole year and, not have to deal with injuries. So, you can never have too much pitching at the end of the day.
No, totally. And also, why are you getting another outfielder? You have 3 with Stanton, Judge, Carpenter, Hicks, LeCastro, 5,
Bader,
Gonzalez even. Why are you adding another outfielder? It just didn't really make sense, although it did because news came out. There was another piece to it, and it was Pablo Lopez of the Miami Marlins. So, Ryan, tell us a little bit about the deal for 26-year-old Pablo Lopez.
Yeah, so basically what the Yankees were trying to do, they were trying to add Pablo Lopez to their rotation, which would make things – Pablo Lopez had a little struggles of late, but that'd be a pretty scary rotation, not just this year, but going forward in the future. So apparently the Yanks had a deal. Craig Carton of WFAN says that the Yankees had a deal for Pablo Lopez that involved Aaron Hicks, and Kim Ng, who was actually the assistant to Brian Cashman back in the day, now the GM of the Marlins. She backed out of the deal at 5:59 p.m. Now, I actually do believe this here from Craig Carton because Brian Cashman, Christian, he even said in his press conference that he had after the trade deadline, and he said, and I'm quoting him here, he said that the Yankees went down swinging to the very end, which means down to the last minute and 5:59, 1 minute before the deadline. So Brian Cashman was basically saying there that he had something lined up at the last minute. He was working on something at the last minute. He went down swinging at the last minute, and unfortunately, he swung and missed. But this would be, I feel like, an interesting trade. The Yanks wanted to get rid of Aaron Hicks's contract. His contract expires in 2025 unless the Yankees want to pick up that team option, which they're not going to. But Hicks is not like terrible for starting center fielder. center fielder, but the production is really downhills. And if that production continues to decline, that contract's going to look worse and worse. And since recovering from Tommy John, from 2019, he really doesn't have any power. His arm's better, I would say, than
kinda.
Yeah, kind of, but not 100%. It gets the job done. But they wanted to send Aaron Hicks to Miami and get Aaron Hicks off of their payroll, get that contract off. And Christian, the Yankees have a lot of money, as you know, coming off the books this year, right?
Yes.
So that would just
$90 million.
Yeah, something like that. That would open up even more money coming off the books for the Yankees. That could help with re-signing Aaron Judge or going out there getting another piece, right? So this would have been big to get Hicks's contract off. So Brian Cashman, I guess, and Kim Ng, they had this deal lined up. And then, that caused Cashman to probably trade Montgomery, thinking he's probably going to get Pablo Lopez, right? Which never happened. We're not 100% sure, but that's kind of what it looks like to me, in my opinion. And, some of the prospects that were mentioned in this deal, not confirmed, by the way. Oswald Peraza was mentioned, not confirmed. And the Marlins also asked for Gleyber Torres. Jack Curry, the Yes Network on the Yankees trade deadline special, said that one name that was getting talked around throughout the industry from the Yankees was Gleyber Torres. And the Yankees potentially, maybe the Yankees didn't want to give up Gleyber Torres to get Pablo Lopez. But Gleyber Torres was definitely being mentioned, and I think maybe the Yankees just didn't want to give up Torres to get Pablo Lopez, and giving up a Peraza or something like that could be an overpay. Although you are getting that Aaron Hicks contract off, you are getting Pablo Lopez, but it could be a little bit of an overpay. Dominguez, Hicks, Austin Wells, Will Warren were also mentioned. Still sounds extremely intriguing, right? What could have been? What could have happened if the Yankees brought in Pablo Lopez? I mean, don't just think about it in the postseason sense, but look at next year. You'd have Cole, Montas, Cortez, Severino if you bring him back, and Pablo Lopez. That's pretty lethal. I mean, you don't really have like one true fifth starter there. A lot of threes. Montas probably two, right? So Cole's your eighth, and so yeah. I mean, that's kind of it. One quick thing that I will mention, not really involved in the Lopez deal, but the Yanks were trying to shop Miguel Andujar and Josh Donaldson before the trade deadline. Brendan Cootie reported from NJ.com, but nothing really formulated with that. So the Yankees were trying to get some of the salary off their payroll. Donaldson making a lot of money, Hicks. So they were trying to get some salary off that payroll, and, it could be used, re-sign Aaron Judge or go out, get another piece, like I said. But that's kind of all there is to it. So, yeah, that's the deal that never happened for the Yankees.